Day one. Just had my last meal, and it is May 18th at approximately 3 o'clock. So my last meal was at 1 o'clock. I think we finished dinner around 2 o'clock. So 2 p.m. on May 18th, last meal. And I'm really nervous about doing this fast because I don't know if the fast is actually the reason that I had the experience that I had with the high blood pressure and stuff. I still haven't just been able to distinguish what was COVID-19 symptoms and what was symptoms from other stuff going on. So I'm not really sure if that is like, if it's going to be dangerous or have consequences for the fasting. I know that I need to do at least 2 weeks so that my body can get down another 14 pounds. So I was at 186.6 this morning, and I need to be down to about 140, 135, 140, something like that. My blood pressure has been sky high. My glucose has been really high. My fasting glucose this morning was 102. That's actually considered diabetic. So I would be considered in the diabetes range. My blood pressure this morning was actually, I don't see my cuff, but my blood pressure this morning was really good. Actually, it was like 117 over 70 something. My second blood pressure at lunchtime was 135 over 92 or something like that. So it kind of creeps up during the day. By the end of the night, I'm running about 155 over 100, 110. So that's concerning. So we're going to try and get the weight off and see if that's actually, if it's just showing up for the first time. You know, I've put on so much weight from the Seroquel that, you know, it's going to be hard to get that fixed because, yeah, it's that is not a nice drug at all. I need to get off the Seroquel desperately in order to kind of get back to normal and stop putting all this weight on. But I have to be able to sleep in order to survive too. So, you know, I've gotten 20 years of sleep on it, and 20 years is a long, you know, that's a long time. So thankful, but now I've got to work on fixing the issues that the medicine caused, which is always a problem with medication. I used to go on medication quite simply and easy. It just seemed like it was an easy thing to do. There didn't seem to be very many consequences, if any at all. This one has had severe consequences, and I'm just really looking forward to getting off of it. And my body's going to have, you know, I'm sure it's going to be pissed off because it's like, oh, you can take a drug. But I think it's learning that by taking that drug and taking that easier way, that was actually a harder way. So sometimes the lesson you got to learn in person instead of actually just hearing it and abiding by it without learning what the consequences would have been had you not abided by it. So anyway, day one, and we're just like 2 hours in. So I will give updates, and I will try and actually do some updates with measurements on the scale, measurements on my blood pressure, especially the evening ones, and see if those start to drop, and measurements on my blood glucose in the morning. I'm only doing blood glucoses in the morning. I'm not going to try and see how high they get up during the day. That fasting blood glucose is a better indicator of long-term blood sugar. So I know it's probably getting up to the 170s, 180s during the day if it's 100 in the morning after fasting all night. So yeah, I'm doing that. Looked at blood this morning, blood smears. Still have the bite cells. I'm beginning to think that it's just the antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, which they told me about already. The doctor told me about, which is possibly the boat cells as well as the bite cells that I'm seeing, and even the coagulants that are in there, the platelet pieces and the clots and stuff like that. So I think that that's all actually part of the antiphospholipid antibody syndrome. But O2 sats were 98.99 this morning. That's awesome. So that's my health journal for today. And hopefully, I did do a video of me in the bikini prior to this, so I will do another bikini photo thing at the end of the 2 weeks. And I might actually go longer than 2 weeks. I might try and do a month. Would be good to get 30 pounds off instead of the 14. So 30 pounds down would be humongous. That would be 156. So that's almost in the target range. That would probably be a huge difference in symptoms. It's just that I'm going to have to be really, really, really careful about coming off of this diet and the refeeding, and I'm not really good with refeeding. I tend to just kind of like go for the whole meal. I'm not really good about following the rules. I know I'm going to have to learn it the hard way because my spirit says, "Oh, I can have something now." So it goes straight for the grapes, or it goes straight for something that's got a lot of sugar in it. And I don't know if my heart can actually take that much of you have to remember, sugar is kind of like heroin. So if you've been addicted to heroin and your body is used to taking, I'm just going to throw out a number. If you're used to taking 200 milligrams of heroin, and you can take that on a regular basis because your body's adapted to it, right? So you're taking 200 milligrams every single day, and your body knows how to do that, right? So when you go off that heroin, what happens? You have a humongous response, right? You go through withdrawals, DTs. You can actually die going off of 200 milligrams of heroin. The same is very true for sugar. So once my body gets clean and it's not had sugar for a month, that's a long time to go for a body not having any sugar. So once your body doesn't have sugar for a whole month, then trying to introduce sugar, actually sugar, proteins, anything that your body's processing, because it hasn't been processing food, it's been processing ketones, your own fat. When you start back introducing food, you think, and addicts do this a lot, they think, oh, well, I was taking 200 milligrams, so I'm going to take a 200 milligram dose after I've gotten clean, after I've been in detox. And for all of you guys that know, that have been addicted before, that's when people die. They take 200 milligrams, that's their usual dose, that's what they're used to taking. They've gotten clean, their body's not seen that in a long time, and all of a sudden they take the same dose and they're dead. They die instantly. And the same is true for sugar and for digestion and stuff like that. Your body it's changing the method in which it digests food and uses energy, and to do that can be deadly. And I am not really good about it, and I'm really scared that I will mess that up. So that's the bad thing about going for a long one, is that somebody needs to help remind me or coach me or something and help me come off of fasting in a better way. So I'm concerned that maybe some of my symptoms before were from that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm a little nervous about that. But anyway, that's May 18th. You guys have a good one.